Hi everyone! We are still in a summer mood, so today I will show you how to make a floral themed baby blanket. This blanket is designed for a baby, but of course you can make it in any size you like. For a 33 by 33 blanket I used 3 white double knit yarns, approximately 900 meters, 1 double knit orange yarn, 1 pink yarn double knit, a 4.5mm crochet hook for the blanket, 2.5mm crochet hook for the flowers. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media to stay updated with new projects. Links in description box. Now let's get started. We will start with chain 127. If you want to make this blanket in a different size, you need to remember that each flower takes about 14 stitches. So for different size, make a chain that is multiply of 14 plus 1. At the moment I'm just making a practice swatch in a different color so that the yarn doesn't blend with the background. Okay, we will skip the first chain. We will start to work in the second chain from the hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the second chain from the hook. Yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through first 2 loops. Like that. And you have now 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and insert your hook into the same chain. Yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through first 2 loops. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same loop. Yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. We will skip next chain and we will work in the next chain. So over here, yarn over, insert your hook. So skip this one, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull up the loop. And again, you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through first 2 loops. You have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same chain, yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through first 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same chain and yarn over, pull up the loop. Yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. Skip the next chain and work in the next chain. So skip this one, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through first 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same chain, yarn over, pull up the loop. Yarn over, pull through first 2 loops. Insert your hook into the same chain, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. And continue until end of the row. So skip next chain, make small bubble in the next chain. Skip next chain, make small bubble in the next chain. And in the very last chain, you should make a double crochet. Okay? So make just a double crochet into the very last chain. And that's your first row is finished. Now chain 1 and turn your work. In row number 2, we will work in those gaps. We will work just 1 single crochet into the first gap, 1 single crochet into the first gap, and from now on we will make 2 single crochet into each gap. So make 1 single crochet into the first gap and then make 2 single crochet into each gap until end of the row. 2 single crochet into each gap. Make 2 single crochet into the last gap, which is over here. So this is your first single crochet into the second single crochet. Now chain 1 and turn your work. Let's start row number 3. We will start the row number 3 in the second stitch. So you have chain, then you have first stitch, and then you have second stitch. So insert your hook into the second stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through first 2 loops. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through first 2 loops on your hook. You have 3 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. Then skip the next stitch. You skip this one and make another small bubble in the next stitch. Then skip the next stitch and make another small bubble into the next stitch and continue until end of the row. Okay, so small bubble, skip next, small bubble, skip next. I have almost done my row. So I'm gonna make the last bubble over here. And a double crochet into the last stitch. So double crochet into the last stitch. Chain 1 and turn your work. And we will repeat these 2 rows alternately until we reach the desired length. We will make 1 single crochet into the first gap, then we will make 2 single crochet into each gap until end of the row. I will see you when I finish the blanket's body. Okay, so now the blanket is done. Now I'm gonna show you how to make the flowers and how to attach them. First, we will make a border around the blanket, which will be the same color as the petals. We will use a smaller crochet hook for this, 2.5 mm. Insert your hook into any corner, put the end of your tail and pull through the stitch, then chain 1. We will try to make 2 chains, and then we will make a slip stitch. So, oh, sorry, it should be 2 chains, not 3, and then make a slip stitch. I will not tell you how often to insert the crochet hook. Do it by feel. If the blanket starts to ripple, it means you are inserting the hook too close to the previous slip stitch. If the blanket starts to curl, it means you are inserting it too infrequently. So do it around. The corners, so make exactly the same. Insert your hook into the corners, make a slip stitch, then chain 2 and continue on the other side of the blanket. Continue all around. We will start with the magic ring. If you don't like to start with the magic circle, you can chain 4, slip stitch to the first chain, then chain 1, and then start to work the first round in the loop created by the chain. But I am starting with the magic circle. Chain 1 and we are ready to start round number 1. Make 6 single crochet inside the magic circle. So this is your first single crochet, second single crochet, third single crochet, fourth, fifth, and the last one. Now pull the tail to close the magic circle and slip stitch to the very first chain. So here, slip stitch. And we are ready to start round number 2, and we will make 2 single crochet into each stitch, and we will start in the first stitch. Here is the first stitch, so make 2 single crochet into each stitch. You should have 12 stitches altogether in round number 2. So this is your first single crochet into the first stitch, second single crochet into the first stitch, first single crochet into the second stitch, and second single crochet into the second stitch, and continue around. And when finished, make a slip stitch to the first stitch, and let's start round number 3. In round number 3 we will work in the sequence 1 single crochet into the next stitch, then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. So 1 single crochet into the first stitch, then 2 single crochet into the second stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and continue all around. You should have 18 stitches all together in round number 3. And when finished, slip stitch to the first stitch and cut your yarn. Now grab the other color, so I have chosen the pink color. Insert your hook into any stitch you like. Put the new color onto your hook and pull through the stitch. And we are starting to make a petals now. Chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and let's start row number 1. We will start this row in the second chain from the hook. We will insert our hook into the second chain. Now yarn over and pull up the loop. Insert your hook into the next chain. Yarn over, pull up the loop. You have now 3 loops on your hook. Insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull up the loop, next chain, yarn over, pull up the loop, and insert your hook into the last chain. Now insert your hook into the same stitch where you started the chain. So you should have 7 loops on your hook altogether. Now yarn over, pull through first 2 loops, these 2. So yarn over, pull through first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through next 2 loops, yarn over, pull through next 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through last 2 loops. We start row number 2. Now we will insert our hook into the 3rd loop, this one. Try not to crochet too tightly, as it will be difficult to insert your hook into this loop. Okay, so insert your hook under the very first loop. So it might be a bit difficult, as I said, I recommend to not crochet too tightly. Yarn over and pull up the loop. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Insert your hook into the next loop. Yarn over, pull up the loop. You should have 3 loops. Insert your hook into the next loop, yarn over, pull up the loop, you have 4 loops. Insert your hook into the next loop, yarn over, pull up the loop, you have 5 loops. Insert your hook into the next loop, yarn over, pull up the loop. Now, because we want to increase the number of stitches in this row, we will insert our crochet hook under the back loop. So not under the front one, but the back one, and we will do this only in this row, okay? So we have 7 stitches so far. And now insert your hook into the next stitch on the gray circle. This one. You can work over the tails as well, so you don't need to sew them inside later on. Now you have 8 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through next 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 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through last 2 loops. So we will not increase anymore. Row number 3, insert your hook into the first loop, yarn over, pull up the loop, insert your hook under the next loop, yarn over, pull up the loop, under next loop, and next, and next, and the last one. Do not insert under the back loop anymore. Just go direct into the same stitch of the gray circle. Now yarn over, pull through. So again you have 8 loops. Yarn over, pull through first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through next 2 loops, yarn over, pull through next, and continue until end of the row. Row number 4, insert your hook under the first loop, yarn over, pull up the loop, insert your hook under the next loop, 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 and now insert your hook under the next stitch of the gray circle. And again you can work over the tail, so you don't need to sew them later on. Okay, so here insert your hook here. Now again you have 8 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through next 2 loops, and continue until end of the row number 4. In row number 5 we will skip the first loop, so we will insert our hook directly under the second loop. So skip this one, insert your hook into under the next one loop, yarn over, pull up, next 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 loop, yarn over, pull up, and insert your hook into the same stitch. Now you have 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through next 2, and continue until end of your row. And row number 6, we will make just slip stitches. So insert your hook under the first loop and make a slip stitch. Insert your hook under the next loop and make a slip stitch, and continue until end of the row. And the last stitch. Okay, so this is your first petal done. Now I will show you one more time the second petal. So we will have 6 petals all together. So once again, slip stitch to the next stitch and make 6 chains. So chain 6. Row number 1, starting in the second chain from the hook, insert your hook into the second loop, insert your hook into the next loop, into the next loop, into the next loop, into the next loop, and insert your hook into the same stitch. Now you have 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through next 2 loops, yarn over, pull through next 2 loops, and continue until end of the row. Row number 2, insert your hook under the third loop, yarn over, pull up the loop, insert your hook under the next 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 loop. Remember row number 2. In row number 2 we increase our stitches, so we'll insert our hook into the back loop of the last stitch. Yarn over, pull up the loop, and insert your hook into the next stitch of the gray circle. So here. Not here, here. Now you have 8 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through next 2, yarn over, pull through next 2, and continue until end of the row. Row number 3 and 4, they are same. We will insert our hook under the third loops, and we will have 8 loops altogether on our hooks. Insert your hook into the same stitch of the gray circle. Row number 4, again insert your hook under the third loops. Insert your hook into the next stitch of the gray circle, so we use 3 stitches per 1 petal, so we have 18 stitches altogether in our gray circle, and we use 3 stitches per petal. And now we will start to decrease, so we will insert our hook into the second loop from the hook. Five. And we will insert our hook into the same stitch, which is 6. So we have 7 loops on our hook. Now we are coming back. And the last row, we will just make a slip stitch, starting with the under the first loop, second loop, and until the end. Make 2 petals more, then I will show you how to connect the last 2 petals to the blanket. Remember to use 3 stitches of the gray part of the flower per 1 petal. Alright, I have done 4 petals and I made 2 rows of the 5th petal. I will show you how to attach the flowers to the blanket. We will also put a flower in the corner later. It doesn't really matter if you put the flowers on the right or left side. What's important is that the flowers and the blanket are on the same side. So if you see the left side of the blanket, then you should also see the left side of the flowers. We will attach the flowers to this chain too. We will skip the first chain too, and we will start in the second chain. We will join the flowers to the first chain of this chain, like that. Now continue the petal, start the row number 3. So make row number 3 like you would normally do. And now insert the hook into the second chain of this chain. So over here, make a slip stitch. And then finish your petal as you would normally do. So make another 2 rows and start the next petal. Again, make first 2 rows of next petal. So I have done first 2 rows of the last petal. Now I'm gonna skip the next chain. So this chain I'm gonna skip, and I'm insert the hook into the first chain of the next chain. Okay, so once again, first chain, I'm skipping first chain, then I'm connecting my first petal to the second chain, then I skip the next chain, and I connect my last petal to the next chain. So the second row to the first chain, and then the third row to the second chain, like that. Okay, then make a row number 3, and connect with chain 2. Then finish your petal like you would normally do, and at the very end make a slip stitch under the first petal. Cut your yarn, leave a bit longer tail for sewing later on. For the second flower we only need to make 3 petals because we will be connecting our flower with 3 petals. We will join the flower to this petal. I have already made 3 petals and 2 rows of the 4th petal. And now I'm making a slip stitch, second row to the second row, and I'm starting to make the 3rd row as I would normally do. Now connect 3rd row to the 3rd row with a slip stitch again, then finish your petal as you would normally do, and start the 5th petal, make 2 rows of the 5th petal. So I've done 4 petals plus I have started the 5th petal. Now I'm gonna skip 2 chains, and I will insert my hook into the 3rd chain. So skip the first 2 chains and insert your hook into the 3rd chain. Okay, skip first chain, skip second chain, and this chain consists of 2 parts. Connect row 2 with the first chain and row 3 with the second chain. As you can see, at the moment I'm connecting the flower with the blanket while both flowers and the blanket are on the right side. So you can choose whatever side you prefer. Now I'm connecting row 3 to second chain. And finish this petal as you would normally do and start the last one. Start 2 rows of the last petal. So I have done 2 rows of my last petal. Now I'm gonna skip 1 chain. So this one I will skip, and I will connect my last petal to the next chain. So again, second row to the first chain, like this. And third row to the second chain. Finish your petal and cut the yarn. And this is how you sew flowers onto the blanket and connect them together. So you will go around this way. As for the corners, I recommend sewing them to 4 petals. You can also sew them to 2 petals and to the blanket if you prefer. At the corners you can also correct certain imperfections. The number of the stitches per flower might vary slightly for everyone since each person works differently. Therefore, sometimes you might sew a flower 1 chain closer or farther away. Use your judgment. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.